I'm David from David's Random, and today we're doing an ASC Delete, which is part of the traction control, the part that throttles down the engine on the Z3. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're getting rid of this and this module here. And so the plug-in that goes in here, we need to make a 1 watt 10 ohm resistor plug into the existing plug to be able to trick the computer to think that this is still plugged in, so we have ABS brakes. So ASC is just a form of traction control where the computer down throttles the engine whenever it thinks that you're in trouble. So I don't know, to me this is the most annoying thing about BMWs. On the track, it's really annoying. So the first thing I gotta do is make a resistor connector. So this is a 10 ohm 1 amp resistor, and this is what's required to put in the plug where the servo is if you want to remove the servo from the car, which I do. But a lot of guys will snip off the end of the connector and then just solder this in place and leave it like that. I don't want to do that. I want this to be reversible. So I've got some pins that are slightly oversized I need to downsize, that are just handy, and then I'm going to go ahead and create my own connector that will just plug in to that servo unit, so that way I can remove that and not have to worry about it. So let's get started with that first. GoPros really aren't good for macro work, but let me show you what I'm trying to do here. So basically you take this connector, these are 3.9 millimeter, and I need to size them down to like 3.1. There's a little offset, and you pinch that in, and then from there you can start rolling it in on itself just by crushing it. And I don't know if you can see how I'm doing that. So I'll do this to where it gets all the way down to size, and then it'll be able to actually go in and fit correctly. I'm just doing this because I'm lazy and I don't want to go hunt down more connectors. And you can see now there's a little bit left over. I don't know if that's easy enough to see. And you can see how much of the connector is laid over on the side. And then that will just roll over as I crush it down. And then we'll end up with a much smaller connector. And that should be good to go. Matches the other one. Why do something the easy way when you can do it the hard way? So I'm going to go ahead and solder this connector into there. I'm just filling up the rest of this connector with solder to hold it. If you're wondering what kind of fancy surface I'm doing this on, my stove. Fill this one up with solder. So anyway, there you go. Now it's all soldered in. I think these pins will work now. Perfect. Ready to plug in. Alright, so I got it plugged in. Looks like it's nice and tight, so let's go ahead and test it. And there should be no ABS light. There's an ABS light. Okay. If I undo this connector, and we're fully unplugged, now maybe there's no ABS light. Let's see. There we go. That's working. Sweet. So first thing we have to do is get these two hose clamps off of here and disconnect this, and then unbolt these two Allen bolts. So let's get started. So first things first is just undoing the rubber boot. Oh yeah. It's also plugged into our And it's undoing our 2 Allen bolts. Undo that Allen bolt. Undoing this 10mm nut. Undoing that 10mm nut. That's hidden from me right here. Set that there for a second. We just gotta pop this out. Which is all nice and tangled underneath everything. Okay. I guess we could mount that there. Found a nut. New boot. I'll go ahead and put a link to this in the description. That way if you guys just want to order it off of Amazon, it's like 18 bucks. It's pretty cheap. This is a URO boot, so it's not an original BMW, but pretty much identical in every way. So that just plugs in on the bottom. Now it's just taping off our connectors here. That one I just made. I'm just using gaffer's tape. A good rubber sealed tape would probably be a good idea too. For right now I'm just doing this. And that is tidy. And then I think we can just hide these underneath the fuse box. And there you go. Much tidier. And it's going to breathe a lot better. So you can see now that we've got it out, it's a pretty big restriction, and it's going to open everything up a lot more, and this should really make things a little bit more lively above 5,000 RPM. I call this "let's make the car gutless in the corners" valve, because that's really what it is. Now realistically, this bracket, if you really wanted to get rid of it, you can break these 2 spot welds and just remove it. But I need something to bolt my horn to, so anyway, that is good to go. So there's still one more thing to do. What I need to do now is get rid of that, the ASC warning light. So I think we can do that just by popping out the old pod here and removing the bolt. I'm using a bit from one of my screwdrivers, and it's a T20 Torx bit, to get up underneath here with a 1/4 inch wrench. I'm just putting it in there like that. That will allow me to undo these nuts, these screws. So there's one. So they actually loosen up pretty easy. There's 2. Some little tiny needle nose. Oh yeah. Almost works. I can get another pair of needle nose on this side. Okay. Alright, not the easiest thing to get out, but whatever. And it's like the steering wheel should come off. Bummer. That one comes out. Oh, like so. Okay, and then this one comes in and comes out. Like so. There's one more in there. Ah. Okay. And that one goes in. Actually, I can get to it from back here without taking that off. But I'm going to take it off anyway, because I'm right here. Why not? So this one right here should be the ASC Well, it doesn't really fit in there. Need a different screwdriver. So that should be the ASC bulb that we were seeing. So yeah, that looks like it's about the right spot. So now you just pop this back in there. Oh, tight fit. Just a little bit of give over that little tiny hump. Okay. All right. Now we're back in there. That's in there pretty tight. So now it should all look normal if I can find the right keys. So there you go. It's running extremely smooth, except I need gas. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel for more information like this. And I think the next thing I might tackle on this is probably the exhaust. And then yeah, there's a couple of different ideas I have for that. Should we try JDM? We can go JDM. I don't know. We have all kinds of different options. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.